So the other thing that, new mortgage coaches have a challenge with, because they're going from, hey, I'm used to quoting fees and fee details and just providing these, and mortgage coach is more dynamic. There's a lot of different reports. So, up in the upper left-hand corner, you have information. So there's a lot more information, and learning how to tailor this so that when you explain it to a borrower, it's not too much information. It's just right. Because I think that you and I, Josh, we had this conversation a lot in the early stages of you building the habit, where you're just like, this is too much information. And it agreed. If you went through and you walked every client through every, field of mortgage coach, it would be too much. So let's try to, in a teachable way, spend a few minutes and walk people through a report in a way that would help them be more confident and more comfortable doing this themselves, Josh.
Sure. Where do you want me to start?
Well, why don't we just start with, right now I've got a what would be a desktop version of Mortgage Coach, and I've got an iPhone version, and I've got an iPad version. But why don't we just start with, how would you describe this to this client? And what, like, you may not even focus on quadrant 4, but just kind of in a teachable way, share with people, how would you explain this to a client? If they were on the phone and you were walking them through it, how would you describe it? How much time would you spend on the 4 quadrants?
In terms of information, I'll always just open up the message, try and address them. If there's a referral partner involved that I know is going to be watching it, I might thank them for referring them and stressing I'm excited to help them work together with this phenomenal realtor and find their new home. I'll always mention that you can move the camera wherever you want around the screen so that it doesn't interfere with viewing the data behind. And I start in the upper left-hand quadrant. I say, if I can direct your attention to the upper left-hand quadrant, you're going to see 3 potential financing solutions. And then I'll just basically give an overview of those 3 solutions, real bullet point. I'm very infrequently going to go into any more detail than just let them know top left quadrant 1 is your summary with your 3 loan solutions. Top right-hand quadrant is going to be your payment comparison, obviously benchmarked off the highest payment, which is option number 1. And then I immediately will try and draw their attention down to the bottom quadrants. One more thing. I will mention in here, usually after I finish the top left-hand quadrant, to click into the More Information tab for further specificity regarding closing costs and payment breakdown, including taxes and insurance. But I really want to get away from that after I've framed the options as quickly as possible, because I know that we're not necessarily the low price leader. That's not what I'm selling here. What I'm selling is A, an experience, and B, the costs or advice over a certain period of time. So oftentimes from there, I'm going to move as quickly as possible down to the lower 2 quadrants. And then what I'm going to say is something to the effect of, Dave, you told me that you thought you'd be in the house somewhere between 5 and 15 years. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to do an analysis for you on the total cost over that period of time to identify which is going to be the least costly loan. And then I'll just walk through total savings over one loan or another in the bottom left-hand quadrant over 60 months and the total amount paid over 15 years. And from there, it kind of just spells out which option is going to be the best, whether it's an ARM or 20-year or 30-year and those types of differences.
So everybody, I mean, and how long does it take you to create one of these, and how long does it take you to do a walkthrough with a client?
So I did a video for you guys before, which was it took me 5 minutes to create a TCA, including the video. Now I was rocking, but I created 3 different loan scenarios. It was a 30, a 15, and a 20, with my lumped closing costs, and I even priced out my title fees. Created the TCA, filmed the video, and I was 5 minutes and 35 seconds. Now, most loans probably have a little more hair on it, and maybe there was, pricing out MI or something like that I didn't do in that scenario. But I would say definitely under 10 minutes. And that's what I told you in the beginning, is I said, Dave, I just can't, I can't get this thing under 10 minutes. I can't do it. I can't get enough of them out the door. So I was able to get them under 10 minutes, and what I figured out was there was more value in the TCA or in the in the video than what I had expected, because I didn't anticipate the fringe benefits, which is you talk to spouse one, and now they have a video to show to spouse two. You send it to your client, you CC your realtor, and your realtor forwards it to their realtor. So there's all these kind of fringe benefits that you get that you don't necessarily expect to have until you're nailing these on a consistent basis.
Beautiful. So everybody on this call, these can be created, and that's manual in 5 minutes or less. I mean, now we have, not only do we have integrations with some of our top enterprise partners, but we have the Optimal Blue integration. So if there's any managers on the call and you want to, talk about how we can, integrate this to where these things can be created within a minute. And again, the video is simple and easy. So the other thing, it's important for everybody to recognize that these reports, they're not only being viewed on desktops, yes, you can print it out, but they're being viewed on mobile devices. So your referral partners are using mobile devices. Home buyers are using mobile devices, and now you're delivering your advice, your insight in a way that's modern, in a way that's relevant.